Hello, everybody!
Hi.
I'm Drew from the Ditwicks.
I'm the other raisin from
The other raisin?
Yep.
There's another raisin?
God, I hope not.
Welcome back to the Shiny Race, where me and Raisin are shiny racing, and we talk about life in a podcast format. And today, we're going to be talking about... We're going to be talking about Scarlet and Violet, specifically your opinions on the matter.
Wow.
Since we didn't really get to ask you guys last time, when we talked about Scarlet and Violet. A few weeks ago, we covered our initial thoughts right after we played Scarlet and Violet, after a few months. We talked about the DLC that's coming out, our opinions on everything so far.
Uh-huh.
And so I asked you guys on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr what your thoughts were on the Scarlet and Violet series. So let's just dive into it, shall we, Raizoni?
Okay.
This one's from Trash Girl. She says, honestly, it looks fun. So she probably hasn't played the games yet. Probably watched other people play them. You should turn your volume down.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah.
I'm on a
your
measly
volume was
4.
on 3, 4.
A measly 4. It's okay.
It's fine. We caught it early. So yeah, she says it looks fun. And it was fun.
It was okay.
It was okay.
It was okay.
Alright, this one's from Red Flare 006. He gave me a whole list of the good, and he gave me a whole list of the bad.
Oh, lovely.
Which is what I really like. I really like both sides of the equation.
Good job.
Not just one-sided answers. He said the good. Charizard looks hot.
No.
I know you'll agree with that opinion.
No.
I will say his sprite does look better than the old sprites, because I kind of get tired of seeing him like flapping all the time.
Yeah.
He's flying. Now he's like on 4s and he looks kind of menacing. So I kind of agree with that. Auto battles and just walking alongside your Pokemon in the overworld is pure pure sex. I guess I can use that word.
I don't think I ever walked with my Pokemon. I think I just kept them in their balls.
And I don't think I've ever thought of it as that term, but that's fine. Exploring Paldea with friends via Union Circle. That was pretty cool. This is the first game where we got to do multiplayer and actually see each other. I mean, I guess you could have saw each other in Sword and Shield, but it was like more of a ghost figure of your friend, if
couldn't
anything.
really interact with
no
each
interaction
other.
whatsoever. They would lag, so it's not like they're even like their movements are like currently what they're doing. It was very strange, and it would only appear in the wild area. It was like a bad MMO in Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
For that one specific area only. So me and you had a lot of fun with the Union Circle. We would almost always join each other's world as soon as we would start playing Scarlet and Violet. He says early access to power items for EV training, which, you know, when doing a gameplay for the first time, a playthrough, like, it doesn't really bother me too much about EVs. It's more about, like, after game for me.
Yeah.
Personally. But if you do want to get straight into EVs, yeah, that game had a early opportunity for that.
Yeah, you got them at the Delibird crap, right?
Yeah, there was like 1,000 shops where you could just go into and buy some pretty competitive stuff right out the gate.
There was 1,000,000 shops.
Which I do like that. I like a lot of options. I like being lost in the amount of options that I have.
A lot of food shops.
Yeah. The food shops could have been, I think, more bundled into one shop.
Just put one grocery store.
Because there's been so many times where it's like, I need an ingredient, and I need to go to 4 different grocery stores to find, like, tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's like, why does no one have tomatoes?
I know. I know.
He says mints and bottle caps are easily accessible. Which is...
debatable.
Yeah, I mean, more accessible than Sword and Shield were.
That is true.
So I do definitely like that. And breeding is so much faster. What do you think about the breeding? Because we've both had the time to officially, like, breed in that game and get shinies. Would you say it's faster? I feel like it's less distracting, if anything.
I'm bored when I'm getting the eggs. I don't know what to do, because I just have to sit there and just constantly press A.
Yeah.
Which, that just bores the heck out of me. I'll just be, like, on YouTube, just watching videos, I guess. I don't know if it's faster per se.
I feel like this feels faster, honestly, but it's really hard to debate because the whole egg breeding system is different in that game.
I do like how once I have the eggs, I can like double shiny hunt.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the best thing.
I
Like,
can Masuda method and hunt for just like random encounters in the wild.
right, you could be like at an outbreak while you wait on your eggs to hatch and just going around in circles. And that's pretty efficient, so you could be shiny hunting two things at once.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you want to include that, then yeah, it's definitely faster.
I've done that multiple times.
I don't know if I like the breeding system better or worse, because like part of me is like, I like the fact that I could just leave my game on and go do other stuff while eggs collect.
Yeah.
Instead of like doing this nonstop, but I do feel like this is faster, so it kind of makes me wonder, should I just shiny hunt in this game instead?
But
I don't
also,
know.
I mean, yeah, we get more. It's like the time encounter ratio. Where this takes less time, but we may get more encounters. I found I think in the 30 minutes of the sandwich for breeding in Scarlet and Violet, I can't remember how many boxes I filled up. I think I got like almost 2 boxes in 30 minutes.
Okay.
Because I can't remember. Somewhere around 1 to 2 boxes.
I feel if
it varies.
If it's definitely like 2 boxes, then I would say it is faster.
Well, like it varies. It's not always going to be the same. I mean,
right.
It's just RNG. I mean, which is the same for like.
And you do have to make sure to have sandwich ingredients if you want to breed fast.
Yeah.
It's best to make the second power-up sandwich rather than the third, because the third requires really secret rare ingredients that just aren't worth it for breeding, and they don't make that much of a difference.
That is correct.
So yeah, it's a whole new system, so it's kind of hard to get into. I guess it really depends on your playstyle.
I guess it just depends.
Hunting.
Like, it's also hard, like, because I guess you would do an hour of Masuda mething in like both games.
Yeah.
Like in this game with Sword and Shield, and then in Scarlet and Violet. So no. Part of me thinks like it'll be around like the same.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it's the same speed, if anything. I don't feel like it's really hard to judge, because like since we're constantly doing stuff in this game, it feels like this is faster, but I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Because I mean, doing nothing is slower than doing something.
And then again, it's also RNG. So.
Yeah. Where's his bad list? Did I send the bad list?
Where is his bad list?
I don't think I sent the bad list. Hold up.
Not the bad list.
How did I miss the bad list?
We need the bad list.
Yes, bad list is important.
The bad list is funny.
It's okay, I'll find it on Twitter right now.
You find it on Twitter. Yeah, I've done a bit of breeding. I don't know how much breeding you've done in Scarlet and Violet.
I haven't found a shiny through breeding in that game yet.
Okay, I found like 2 or 3. I can't remember. Yeah, like 3, because I found my first one I did was Flabebe, because I always wanted a shiny Florges. Never had one, and it's one of my favorite Pokemons. I did Charmander when Charizard was in the 7-star raids, and then I did Fuecoco. Oh, I also got Quaxley as well.
I have found the bad.
He's found the bad.
Toxapeck and Garganacl's butts are in the game.
Some would say that'd be on the good list.
Does Toxapex have a butt?
Does Garganacl have a butt?
I never really thought of having a butt.
I never really looked at Pokemon butt.
Yeah, that's not something I typically look at.
Except for Alligator in Gen 3.
Clothing options are dog poop. And I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
There's not very many options. It's weird that they would... I mean, I understand them wanting you to stay like a school student. That's kind of the theme around this game in a way.
Yeah.
But personally, I'm kind of tired of being 10 years old. I kind of just want to wear what I want and do what I want. And I think they'll have more clothing options in the DLC. Make it more exciting. But they should have had more than just 4 options to begin with, in my opinion.
Think you'll get a new uniform.
I hope it's not just another uniform. I just want to wear, like... Is it so much to ask for, like, a black t-shirt and black pants? I think I'm pretty basic on what I want.
Well,
just a simple shirt.
That is too much. File a report.
I'll make sure to file a report.
Okay, good.
Raids spawning randomly all over the map makes it difficult to find specific Pokemon. Yeah, they need a better system for that, like a menu where you can select the Pokemon that are, like, available to raid in your map.
Yeah, at least
instead of just flying to each one saying, no, I don't want to do that, don't want to do that, don't want to do that.
Yeah, like a search option, like, hey, here's the list, and here's where it is on the map, set a Marco, go to it.
Yeah, because, like, especially if you're trying to get ingredients for sandwiches, there is certain Pokemon that spawn a higher amount of those ingredients. And those are the ones me and you typically go for.
Yeah, the 5
And if we see one that's like 3 stars, like obviously we're not going to do it. So then we have to fly to another one. That one happens to be 3 stars. It's like, we're not going to do that either.
Yeah.
Because we're looking for very specific mons. And yeah, so having a menu option for that would be very helpful instead of just flying to random spots and being disappointed.
And also just the raid system in general just needs work.
Because getting ingredients, that can take hours for me and you.
Yeah,
you know? So that would be very beneficial.
Like, whenever you go online in the portal, and you go to, like, see, like, what raids need, like, people to come join them. Pokemon does not do good with multiplayer.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best game they've had with multiplayer.
Yeah,
but they're trying.
Still needs work.
They're always in the trying stage.
It takes a long time to load into a raid.
Yeah, that could be fixed. And what's more annoying is they take like so long to fix things.
It takes a long time to load, and most of the time you don't even get in.
Yeah, I swear, like I'm sure it's still like this to this day. But if I go into the raid search option where I can join people, always the first one I click on, not available. Second one, not available. And I will just sit there for like 2 minutes just letting it load to see if I can join in to tell me, no, I can't join in.
Yeah.
And that Sword and Shield had that problem too, so I don't think that's ever going to be fixed. I think that's always just going to be an annoying issue trying to join people's raids.
Mm-hmm.
Because, frankly, Game Freak just doesn't care.
They don't.
I said it.
Smite him. And there's like, it's just like
true.
Also slow when you're actually in the raid. I don't know if slow is the right word. I hate how sometimes people
the raid is faster.
I just hate how sometimes people have to catch up to you.
You get really annoyed, yeah, because like on my screen, I'll still be attacking, and on his screen, I've already attacked, and he just gets annoyed waiting on my game to catch up. Which I don't think that's too big of a deal. I know it really annoys you.
But, like, how does that happen?
It's just one is faster than the other.
That's so weird. Like, I remember when we were doing raids, like, I think I was sitting there for, like, a minute. Like, I'm not even lying. I think it was an actual minute.
Yeah, that could happen.
I'm just like, what am I doing? Let me do something.
When you're in a battle and you have a timer, I think you start to panic a little bit more.
Yeah.
And for me, it's kind of like I know that the other game is just trying to catch up.
Oh, catch up faster.
And it probably does waste time. I never see the timer stop.
It doesn't.
It's almost like you go and then the other person goes and the timer's still going in between, just waiting.
And it's just like, especially like in multiplayer when people bring horrible Pokemon to the raids.
That's kind of to be expected though, because, you know, it's a bunch of kids. And
kids are stupid.
They're marketing towards kids, so
kids are dumb.
Like as soon as they can join raids, it's like, I'll bring in my level 20 starter, and that will get us through the raid. And then they bring everybody down because they're trying to take on a
viewers
legendary.
Out there don't have kids, and
yeah,
if you have kids, teach them good.
Let's just end the human population. We gave it a good shot.
Whoa! Yes. I'm down.
Let's make robots. They can just
let's restart.
They can create a civilization on their own, and we'll just die off and let them figure figure it out for themselves.
Sick. Let's do it.
Let's Wall-E this world.
Let's Wall-E this world.
So yeah, he said difficult to join raids. Raids are desync poop show. He curses a lot, so we have to censor.
A distinct poop show.
Yeah, he says the S word, but I'm trying to censor as much as I can.
Show?
Desync poop show. No consistent method to obtain reducing berries. Ooh, yeah. So if you get a Pokemon and accidentally gave it EVs or IVs that you don't want, you're going to need berries to get rid of them if you're trying to make it competitive. And if there's not a good way to get them, that could be very painful.
Is that also just through raids?
No, I think you have to find them on the ground, and I think it's like not even a set location.
Oh, lovely. So
it's like you kind of just go places to hope to find it on the ground. Like that would be very frustrating. I haven't competitive trained too much in that game, and the ones that I do it all at once and make sure that I don't battle anything I'm not supposed to. So I've never had to get a berry for that issue. I know you had to in Sword and Shield.
I did?
Yeah. You were trying to train Dragapult, and you got kind of annoyed because you had to get rid of some IVs. Because you were shiny hunting with it and battling Pokemon, and like all your IVs went to something that you really didn't want it to.
Okay.
Quiet Quinn. I only wish there had been more story or more interactions between the main four. I wanted to talk to Arvin and Penny more. And why no selfie mode with them? I do kind of like the selfie option because you can take a picture like in front of your shiny Pokemon.
I'm gonna be honest.
Never used it. I know you haven't.
Ever pulled out that camera? I don't even know how.
I pulled out my selfie for my sleeping shiny Dunsparce behind me, and I love that picture so much. It's so cute.
Yeah, I don't even know how to open the phone. Couldn't tell you.
I couldn't tell you right now because it's been a while since I played Scarlet and Violet, honestly.
It's been a while.
But yeah, I do like the interactions between the main characters. Arvin was pretty... it's pretty easy to be empathetic towards him.
Yeah.
And the rival is, like, very stalkerish, and there's been so many memes to come out from that.
Oh, good lord.
Like, have you seen the meme where it's, like, this older lady, like, running towards this kid? Like, she's walking behind him, and then the kid, like, is, like, you can see his eyes looking behind him, and then he just starts running, and then she starts sprinting towards him. I've seen that meme with, like, her, just replace her with Nimona.
Oh,
Lord. But yeah, every time you go to a gym, she just so happens to be there and says, "Oh, wow, what a coincidence that we happen to be here at the same time. You ready to battle?"
No.
She does that like 4 or 5 times.
No, like, shut up, leave me alone.
Like, she's obviously stalking you.
Ooh.
Matt on Twitter says, "Bugs aside, let's talk about the actual game. The story had a interesting twist that I wasn't expecting. The open world was vast and a little overwhelming at first. Every character has personality and heart that makes them all lovable. Overall, a brilliant game I would play again."
Dub.
Yeah, pretty good opinion.
Aside.
I think the main thing is I want the lag to be fixed. I would like to do a playthrough together.
Yeah.
For YouTube. But with the lag right now, I just don't think it would be that entertaining to look at. Maybe that's just my own personal opinion, but the lag is bothering a lot of people right now. And with Game Freak, being behind the wheel, it's probably going to take 2 years for them to fix the lag.
I don't think they will fix it.
You think they're just saying that?
I don't think they'll fix it. I think they'll make, like...
They might boost the frame drops from 10 frames per second to 20 frames per second.
I was going to say just 11 frames per second. They just up it by 1.
I feel like... this is kind of unrelated to his comment, since we're talking about the lag issues, and he didn't really bring that up. But I feel like the main problem is they didn't choose the right texture pack for the game itself. Mm-hmm. If they made it like Shade Sail, where everything looks more cartoonish, I feel like the Switch would have been able to handle it more. But they wanted to make it more upgraded and, add fur, scales, shiny texture to metal, which is all great things, but it's not something that the Switch can handle.
Yeah.
At that point, make the game for PlayStation 5, please. Because, that stuff is good, but if it's bugging your game so bad to where you can't play it almost for a lot of people, you should probably switch to style to make it be able to process more.
It's almost like they didn't test it.
They said they did, but I find that very hard to believe. It's like, did they test it on a PC?
Who in their right mind loaded up the Switch at Game Freak, put Scarlet and Violet in, went to the lake, and said
this is fine.
This looks amazing.
Yeah, like seriously. I liked the open world. The open world is something that I've wanted for a very long time. He said it was a little overwhelming at first, but I kind of like overwhelming. I like the thought of I can just go around and explore for like hours on end.
Yeah.
And not run into linear paths and just have so much fun. It was so much fun, like, as soon as we got out of the first route, to just go separate ways and just see what we could find in the wild. Mm-hmm. Like, that was so cool. That was so fun. I'll never forget that experience.
The only thing I don't really like about the multiplayer is the limitation on encounters that you each can get at a given time. I think it's like 5 encounters each. Like, I can have 5 encounters on my screen.
If you join each other's world, only 5 Pokemon spawn it at a time.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
That doesn't really bother me too much. Because they're still spawning at a pretty fast rate. And shinies appear in the overworld, so it's like still better than most methods. Because, most games you can't find a shiny within 30 minutes. And when we're in each other's worlds, we have found shinies within 30 minutes. Why do you keep saying eh? It's true, though. So yeah, it's like 5 at a time, but it's like 5 every like 2 seconds.
I won't say every 2 seconds.
I'd say 4 seconds.
I won't say 4 seconds either.
If you're going my speed, it's every 4 seconds. Because I'm like constantly thrusting on my Koraidon and like just appear. And if you don't like that method, just don't join each other's world, because then you get 15 spawns at one time.
Yeah. I don't know, it just seems like it takes longer for me. Like, I always am standing still when we're in each other's worlds and just waiting for something to spawn.
Yeah, I never really saw it as a problem.
That's me.
But if they want to get rid of the lag, they'll probably reduce that to like 2.
Oh, good.
for our world, so
Lovely.
Get ready for that. Because that's the one thing they talked about when they were trying to think of how to fix the lag. It's like, we were thinking about decreasing the spawn rate. So, for singles, that would obviously mean 15 down to like 10 or something. So it'd probably be even less for 2 people.
True.
So, enjoy the game while you can before they try to fix the lag issue. Rival Indigo. He's a very negative person, but it's always fun to read his comments.
He's a Gen 1er.
Yeah, he's a hard Gen 1er.
He doesn't believe in Pokemon past Gen 1.
He doesn't believe it past Gen 4, which is pretty common for our age group.
Oh, Gen 4.
Didn't play it. In fact, once I saw the gameplay and features, I sold my Switch and moved on. So yeah, that's kind of to be expected from Rival Indigo. Okay. We love him anyways, though.
How much did he get for the Switch?
That's what I want to know. I feel like you wouldn't be able to get much for a used Switch for, years old.
How much is a new Switch? Like 300? I think I paid like 300 for my Switch.
Yeah, I think I paid 300 for mine. I think it's like down to... I think it's still 300 actually. Because the Lite is 200.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so... Yeah, people are still buying the Switch. There's still games coming out for it that are relevant, so...
Splatoon.
They're making Breath of the Wild 2, whatever that's called. Probably pissed off some Zelda fans there. Cosmic Star. The raid slowdowns can get frustrating because you cannot click your moves until it catches up to the other, like you were talking about.
Yes.
Then that I have liked how easy this generation is to build competitive Pokemon and enjoyed seeing new forms of new favorites including for my Steel type King Gambit. King Gambit was pretty cool. I loved seeing that for the first time.
That was a surprise.
I already got the shiny of it because I really wanted that one. That and Annihilate. Those are two Pokemon that were from other gens, Gen 1 and Gen 5, and it was very cool to see both of them get an evolution. Didn't really think either one of them needed an evolution, but it was still pretty cool to see it. Anyways, I think especially Annihilate, I really like his. That gave me more love for Primate, because originally Primate was kind of like, it's your basic fighting type that you get pretty early on.
I didn't really like Primate.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was always neutral. It's like, it's a Pokemon. It's there. I don't hate that it's there. It's just an extra Pokemon I can use if I ever decide. But Annihilate is like, ooh, a really good competitive, edgy looking Pokemon. It's like, yeah, now I will hunt it because it looks so freaking cool. So yeah, loved the evolutions.
They're making some like whack evolution methods now.
Yeah, and it's like some of them, it's like obviously you won't be able to figure out how to evolve it unless you look it up online.
Listen,
like Yamask,
Galarian Yamask.
Yeah, that was so weird. You have
get
to go
it
to
below
berry?
49 HP and go under these rocks in the middle of the desert, in the middle of the wild area.
They claim to target kids for their audience, but nowhere in the game does it tell you how to evolve a Galarian Yamask. You just have to have it on low health and happen to go to that rock in the desert. Just figure it out. Like, there's no way to figure that out on your own. It's just pure coincidence. It's pure luck if you happen to evolve it. Like, most people, if they don't have the internet to, like, look it up, which I know we live in an internet world where you can look it up, but no game should require you to have to look it up to figure out how to get there. They're, like, puzzles are supposed to have clues.
I'm sure, like, an NPC somewhere kind of hints to it, maybe.
I don't think so. Like, I mean, I remember, like, I don't remember ever reading that. And because I remember, like, wanting Yamask on my team. It's like, how do I evolve it?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I've been talking to every NPC, and I haven't found a person who could tell me how to do it.
I don't know. If it's not an NPC, then, yeah, that's really messed up. Because they should prepare for players who don't have access to internet.
Yeah. And, like, Annihilate and King Gambit, I mean, those are very specific methods, too. Once you figure out the pattern, you can kind of figure it out. There's always a move that you have to use repetitively to evolve it. Which King Gambit, you have to make a hold an item and kill very specific Bisharps.
I didn't like that either.
Like, there has to be an NPC somewhere telling you how to do that, because it's so random. Like, you really won't know how to evolve these things until you do that method. Which I know they're trying to, like, shake up the formula or whatever, but I don't think you have to be that specific.
Shake it up better.
I don't think it needs to be that specific. Just
yeah.
make a cool item in the game, and once you find it, you can use it. Because eventually you're going to get to a point where you're in a new gen, and you have that Pokemon that you want to put in the game, and you find out the only way to evolve it is if you go back, like, 5 gens to Gen 4 and go up to Mount Coronet. No, you got to make an easy method now. That's why they gave Magneton the ability to evolve through Thunderstone and Scarlet and Violet. Because putting Mount Coronet in the game is just not a very good idea.
They could.
So just make it like a simple method where it can always be, future-proof. That's just my opinion on the matter.
I also just, I don't like how they changed it now. Now that you mentioned it, I remember it, and I now don't like it.
You don't like the Thunderstone, or do you not like that you have to go to Mount Coronet whenever you play Gen 4?
I liked how it was Mount Coronet,
you think I made it more special?
Electrical field that needed to evolve, like from Magneton and Nosepass. I like that. That was pretty cool.
But how would you feel getting Magneton and Scarlet and Violet and knowing you can't evolve it? Like, you would have to be told you can only get Magneton if you transfer it through home.
Well, then
which
that,
still is
that
not
would
available.
be stupid.
Exactly.
Because now, because in Gen 4, Mount Cornet had some sort of weird electromagnetic field going on with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just make another area like that with an electromagnetic
So
field.
every region just has a
yes,
Thunder Mountain they have to incorporate.
I mean,
Every single
every
generation
region
has to have one.
Has an ice zone. Every region has a desert.
So just add Thunder Mountain to
Just
every
add
single
a little
region.
area. Hey, the electromagnetic field's all freaking whack.
I feel like we can have a region where it doesn't have all that. You know?
I would love that.
I feel like Hawaii could have been fine without a frozen tundra area. That was so random. I know you want to incorporate ice types somehow, but to just make every region the same and just give every single region, the same biomes, because, well, we gotta have every type of Pokemon in the game. It's you can still find ice-type Pokemon that don't have to live in a ice-type environment.
Yeah. Like what?
Let me think of one. I feel like Galarian Vulpix could be just in the grass.
Alolan Vulpix?
I mean, it's like a fox, yeah.
I mean, maybe.
I could see that just roaming around in normal grass.
I guess.
I don't know. Pokemon Go Detroit. He says, love the game. It's super fun, great storylines, and you can choose the order you do things in.
But not really.
Well, kinda, yeah. What, you beat the 8th gym second? So,
but at the same time,
kinda.
I was horribly overleveled.
It's weird, because there is no level scaling in the game. So, there's definitely a set path.
There's an untold path.
There's an untold path that they want you to do. It's this is obviously the first gym, because it's there's level 10s in there, and this is obviously the second, because they're level 15. And then there's a gym that's they're level 50. Well, 40s. That was the last gym. And it's sure, if you want to go out of Route 1 and train all the way until you can beat the 8th gym, you can do that.
I did that.
But it's not...
Listen,
it's not really the way to play.
Listen, I told you when the games came out, I told you I was going to go through the tutorial crap, and I'm beelining for the Ice Mountain.
You did tell me that, yes.
And I did that.
So yeah, you definitely can play the game out of order, but like we said, there is a set path. But you're not supposed to.
False advertising.
What they need to do is just do level scaling, because that kind of fixes that whole issue.
Yeah, I've told you, bugs and lag and all that crap, put that to the side. If there was level scaling, it'd be a perfect Pokemon game.
The only thing that's kind of weird is if you want a story to tell in order to do it in, it's really hard if you could just do it all out of order.
Yeah.
Think of Arven's quest. Think about finding the Donphan first.
Mm-hmm.
Before you find any of the other Titans. It'd be very off. It would be very strange, and yet... Could you do that? I don't think you could do that. I think you had to go in order for that. Because I don't... Do you remember? I don't know if you could do that one out of order.
I think the order of the Titans are technically Cloth, the worm thing.
Yeah.
Donphan, the bird, and then Donphan, and then the dragon thing, Dondozo.
Yeah, because I feel like it led up to the dragon thing.
Yeah, I think it did too.
So, I don't know. I kind of want to know if you can do that out of order. I wonder if you could do Dongozo first. Just have a trained team to do it.
I don't know, because you probably need Surf.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's how they made it to where you have to go in order. Because you need the ability to climb to get to some of those places. Climb, fly, surf.
I think
that's how they limit you.
I think the only one you need is Surf. Because I don't think you have to climb to any of them.
I think you had to climb to get to...
With the bird, there was a path. There's a path up the mountain, and he would throw boulders at you.
I'm sure there's one part you have to climb. I don't know.
I don't think so. But
HMs have always been the way to keep you from progressing too fast, though.
Yeah.
And to do things in order in previous games.
And the first one didn't even help. Like, you could dash. Wow. Wowzers.
Yeah.
Then you can...
Which, that kind of makes sense, though. Not something that will help you progress, but...
It doesn't.
It is a nice upgrade. It's like, yay, I can finally do that. I can finally go fast.
You got the running shoes.
Yep, that was your version of the running shoes, which I'm glad they got rid of the running shoes. I'm glad I don't have to walk everywhere until I obtain them now.
That's just something I never understood. Like, these shoes make you run.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
I never understood that in the games, and I never understood...
Could never run up until that point.
Well, it's not that I didn't understand them, but, like, removing HMs from Pokemon, that was the best move Game Freak's ever made. Yeah. It just took them, 6 years to do it? No, longer than that. It took them, 10 years to do it.
I mean, I like the, just make them deletable.
Yeah, that's... I understand they don't want you to get stuck, but HMs, you can just... If you used an HM to get to a certain point, you obviously have a Pokemon in your party that can learn it.
Mm-hmm.
And just make it to where HMs are never breakable, so you can always reteach it. So I don't think you could ever truly get stuck in a game.
It's just a cross between the older gens TMs and HMs, to where HMs, you can use them an infinite amount of times, but you could also delete the move off that Pokemon.
Right.
When you want.
In order to avoid people from getting stuck, you would just have to make sure that you can... make sure you don't have the option to release them in your party, and you'll never get stuck in a Pokemon game. Because I've seen puzzles online with YouTubers. What they'll do is they'll hack their game to put them in a cave where they need Rock Smash, and the cave will only have 2 Pokemon to choose from.
Yeah.
And they're stuck with a certain Pokemon that can't learn any HMs and can't even really train against the Pokemon in the wild area. And they'll find a way out of it, but it's really, really hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't think this situation can happen naturally, though. So I don't think, I think just do away with HMs.
You really have to purposefully try to soft lock yourself.
Yeah. It's really hard to do.
Because in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, when you're on when you're in Cyanwood City, the island city where you have to surf. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to surf to get there. There's no other way to get there except surf. Once you get there, you can I forget how, because I don't think you can release a Pokemon. I think if you trade the Pokemon away...
I think that's what you have to do, yeah.
Trade the Pokemon with Surf away and delete every Pokemon you have. And delete all your Pokeballs and all this stuff. Delete everything so you can't make money. And you physically could not leave no matter what you tried. There's an NPC in the Pokemon Center who will give you a tentacle.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. That's really well thought.
And he even mentions it. He goes, "Oh, you don't have a Pokemon with Surf? You can't get back? Here you go."
Yeah, they put a lot of thought into it to where you never get stuck in an area permanently.
Yeah.
I wish they put more thought into that with other things.
Like I said, that's a very unique situation to be in.
That's cool. I've never knew that before.
It's a very unique situation to be in, and one that will very rarely happen unless you purposefully do it.
Yeah, you have to really screw yourself over.
Yeah.
Pokefinder V says, I loved it. A lot of people complain, but I don't think a lot of people realize that the coding goes into each sprite that pops up on your screens. A normal game, we fight creatures. They are all the same, but think about how when we catch a Pokemon, each one is different that requires different code to be generated. And it's doing it for us instantly, and they are still not satisfied. We knew going into the Switch... We knew going into this, the Switch couldn't handle the game we really wanted, but for what we got, it's amazing. Can't wait for the next-gen console. So pretty positive, optimistic look on it.
It's fine. We need people like that.
one thing I keep noticing is almost all my Ratatatas are female. There's got to be a code in this game specifically.
Maybe
where
because
it's
Mac Kogo's female.
Would that
Mac
really,
Kogo? What? No.
Would that really do anything though?
Maybe because the parent that's not Ditto is female.
The shiny coding in this game is... I'm sorry we're getting off subject and not replying to the comment right away. But, like, this game is so weird when it comes to shiny hunting. Did you know there's a shiny method in this game where you can count the number of blinks that your character's eyes do to make sure that you get a guaranteed shiny? Like, if you're soft resetting in front of something?
What?
Yeah, it's called the blink method.
What?
Yeah. There's this site that people use where they look at your character, like facing the screen, and there will be like this little box that appears over your character's eyes, and it will measure the blinks, and there's a certain time in between blinks that your character will do to where you can... It's weird, she's not blinking right now. I wonder how often she blinks. But like, they can... Each time in between blinks, you can figure out the time in the game to where it's like not shiny, not shiny, not shiny, shiny, not shiny, shiny, not shiny, not shiny. Like it's almost like a timed thing. And people been able to use an app online to measure her blinks to figure out when a Pokemon will be shiny at a certain time. The shiny rate and the way everything's programmed in this game is very weird. So like, it's I hope I'm not like shiny locking myself to where I can't get a shiny, because it keeps spawning in a very similar Rattata that's almost always female.
Well, like, check the natures.
Let's do that, because I'm kind of curious.
Because I don't know, like...
This one's male.
Naive,
quirky, female, lax, careful. Just seems like I almost always get females. It's very odd. That was just something I noticed. Okay, so back to the comment. He was talking about how every Pokemon, it's spawning in Pokemon with preset codes, and that would cause lag. I don't know how true that is specifically, though.
Now we're getting into smoke people talk.
This is like more like theory territory, because like numbers, I mean, think about every game. Every game is numbers nonstop.
Ones and zeros.
I mean, think of all the shooting games. That requires a lot of numbers. If we're saying the game can't handle it because Pokemon are spawning in with, randomized numbers, I don't really think that's... I don't think that would cause lag. Because, like, even PlayStation 1s, they're constantly running characters on screen that appear from right to left, sometimes like 5 enemies at a time, and they don't lag. I think it's the textures, because the game loads in the textures the closer you get to it, and if it's on a timer where it's like we need to load in the textures as soon as possible, that would lag the game. So I think that's the main problem. I don't think it's the coding.
I mean, it could also just be the console itself.
I don't think it's the coding of what nature should we give this lag the game.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think that's it, because like I said,
it's the console, because like between the difference between PS4 and PS5.
Well, I mean, obviously it's the console. I mean, he even admitted to that. He's said he's waiting for the next gen console.
Yeah, like Genshin Impact. We both have it, same game, and like when you had the PS5, you played it on the PS5, ran so much smoother.
Yep.
So much smoother than PS4. Loads in quicker, same game, same graphics and everything.
They try to do too high textures for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet on a Switch, and the Switch is not really made for that. It's made for cartoonish looking games, which that's the style they should have went with. Even though it is cool to see a Seviper with scales, the Switch just can't handle that.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks, because like the map itself, if you're looking at it from a distance, it already kind of looks ugly. Like, let's be honest, the map doesn't... Pokemon games, their map never looks good far away. But, like, you can really notice it when there's, like, no texture to any of the mountains at all.
Yeah.
It looks like Play-Doh from a distance. Like, and that's because they know the Switch can't handle it if they made it look good. So, I think the biggest thing that that Nintendo could do is make a a console that is not stuck in the 2010s. Upgrade it to, like, be on the same stage as Xbox One, PS5.
Mm-hmm.
I understand their whole concept is it's portable too, and that will limit you to not have high enough processing power. But just make a deck version at least that can handle your good games, that can handle modern day games. Because right now, the Switch is stuck in the past. Pretty much every Nintendo console that comes out, they're always behind the generation that's current. Because like when PS3 and Xbox 360 was out, their whole thing was you can play in HD.
Wow.
The Wii, which came out around the same time, it was below HD. It's very, very fuzzy to look at. It's not appealing to look at on a big screen.
Yeah.
But they're always like, and on the Switch, yeah, it can run 1080 now. But PS5 and Xbox One, they run 4K at 60 frames per second. Sometimes 30 frames per second, depending on... You can usually set it in the game. But they're stuck at 1080, 30 frames per second on the Switch. I wonder what these games would look like at 60 frames.
Probably the same.
Probably, yeah. They're not too special. Well, I mean, Pokemon Go looked a lot different when we changed it to 60 frames per second.
It did.
So I feel like it would be a noticeable difference, but it's hard to imagine without seeing it. Because we wouldn't have imagined that originally for Pokemon Go either. Hunter STCG says, I really like the card arts. I just pulled the Gardevoir Special Illustration Rare yesterday. So he's talking more about the new card set.
Oh.
Scarlet and Violet, rather than the games themselves.
Very confused.
Yeah, that was like the first comment. I try to include everybody's comment, even if they're slightly off subject. But yeah, I like the Scarlet and Violet card set. They're really fun to pull.
Yeah.
We opened 3 boxes on this channel, so you can go check those out if you have the time.
3 boxes.
Mm-hmm.
One for me.
One for Mike.
And
one for me.
Oh, one for Michael.
Yeah, that was a fun competition. I loved those 4 videos.
It was. We may do more like that.
Yeah, I want to do that when the new set comes out, which is called Paldea something? Paldea Evolved, maybe?
Paldea something.
It's Paldea something.
Was it something Paldea?
I don't know.
Wowzers.
I honestly don't know the answer to that one.
Stay tuned.
Scarlet and Violet had hands down the best storylines, character design, and character development of any Pokemon game in recent years. I like how they pointed out recent years. The twists were unexpected, and I actually cried several times while playing because I was so emotionally invested in the story. Even with the bugs, the game was so beautiful and so much fun. Yeah, I wasn't expecting the Arven story to be kind of sad and kind of dark.
That was really the only good story.
He was sad about
his doggy.
Possibly losing his dog.
His doggy.
Like at first, you run into him and he's kind of like frustrated and
kind of a douche.
Yeah, kind of just not someone you want to be friends with. And then you find out he's just really irritated because he's trying to find a way to keep his dog alive.
Yeah.
That's literally it. That's his whole motivation. He just doesn't want his good boy to die.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very touching moment. I know you didn't care about the school storyline, but you know there is a good amount of kids that get bullied in school, so I feel like a lot of that storyline would touch them in certain ways as well.
Yeah.
Especially when you find out that the gang in the school was really just bullied kids themselves, and they're just trying to stand up for themselves. Which I never really thought Pokemon would explore that concept in a full-on story.
Mm-hmm.
But it is something different than previous games.
True.
And you don't expect it to be an enemy team as well. That was very interesting.
Didn't really feel like an enemy team.
I feel like every single story had some kind of emotion driven to it. Because, like, even in even in the end game, you find out the dude's dad/mom is dead, and you have to fight this robot. It's like, I'm sorry for what I'm about to do, and then you have to fight him.
That was probably my favorite part of the game.
I have slight chills thinking about that. Like, that was a good story turn. It was dark, it was sad, and it was epic. Because then you have to fight these Pokemon from a different time paradox that you don't know what's coming.
Is that the first like death in a Pokemon game?
The Pokemon games mentioned death a few times. But have we seen a death? Well, we didn't really. You can't really count that because we didn't see her death. They just mentioned her death. It's kind of like, what would you describe a death scenario to be? Because there's like plenty of characters that's like, yeah, my husband died here, or like in like Lavender Town and stuff.
Yeah.
So characters bring up that other characters died, which, I mean, that's pretty much what the robot does. It mentions that your parent is dead.
I don't know. It just seems more.
It felt more dark because it was like.
Because that was her.
Yeah, like that was a big part of the story as well. So
like
it really focused in on her.
What was it, like her conscience? She uploaded to an AI.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
It was an AI trained to like think like her.
But then like it. I don't know. It's weird. Because
I feel like because you don't know that they're dead yet, I think that was a bigger impact.
Yeah.
Because it's like, at first you think they're alive and something's just up. And then you find out that it's an AI and that their parent is dead. And then you find out before Arvin does.
Oh, yeah.
So then it's like, oh, how is this going to play out? What are we going to tell him? So this game covers bullying. It covers death of a parent, and losing a beloved pet, possibly. Probably one of the darker Pokemon games in a long time, when you think about it.
Probably one of the only darker Pokemon games.
What other Pokemon game covers darks? I like how Pokemon's getting slightly more edgy, because like Arceus felt a little edgy as well.
We're doing it. We're making it.
And I know for those who like actually like hardcore edgy stuff, I know this is all like child's play to you. But you gotta understand, we're thinking in the minds of Pokemon. You gotta put yourself on the kid level first, and think, that's kind of crazy that they would even mention death at all.
Yeah, especially in a Pokemon game.
Yeah, it's like that's just not very common. So yeah, story wise, I think I gotta put it higher than a lot of games, honestly. Like let me think of the games I can compare it to. I liked it better than Gen 7, Gen 8, Gen 6.
And now here we are.
Gen 5 is where it gets hard.
And now here we are. Because Gen 5, in my mind, has arguably one of the best
Most
stories.
people would agree with you when it comes to storytelling.
Just because there's two of them.
I mean, yeah, there is a pretty in-depth story that's really hard to top. I can't say it's better than Gen 5.
Attaboy.
I would have to, like, get two revised scripts of the stories.
It's better than,
side by side and compare them.
It's better than Gen 1 and 2.
Gen 1 and 2 didn't really have much of a story.
That's why I said that.
But also, that's kind of the appeal of those games, honestly. It's like, just start your adventure and make your own story.
I don't know where I would place it, because...
And Gen 4 has a lot of nostalgia, and Gen 3 has a lot of nostalgia. But they really didn't have much of a story, and their story's almost kind of similar. But you'd have land and water and time trio instead.
Mm-hmm. But, like, with the Scarlet and Violet story, I don't know, they kind of all didn't really blend together, in my eyes, only except for like one character from each.
I kind of like that. I like that it was different stories. I don't want them to all feel the same. I don't want them to all have the same theme.
I mean, like with Nemona's story, it wasn't really a story there. Just go around, defeat gyms, go beat the champion.
And I like that because that kind of stays true to the original games. It's like
Done.
yeah, I like that story. That's something. If that's something where you don't really care about the story, you don't care about the enemy team, and you just want to beat gyms and beat the Elite Four like a normal trainer does, you have that option. You could just skip all the other stories if you wanted.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like that.
Arvin's is really the only one in my eyes that felt like a true story. I don't know. That's just
I felt like the enemy team felt like a true story because I mean, there's a lot of lore there, and a lot of details of what they're feeling, and then Penny turns out to be, you know, the most bullied, and she's the one that orchestrated the whole thing, and
saw that coming.
yeah, I think a lot of people saw that coming, and when the teacher tried to say it was him, it was kind of like, what? That doesn't even make sense.
Nah, that one just threw me for a loop.
That was funny.
I'm like, huh?
I remember playing that game for the first time. It gives you an option to call him by his real name or his fake persona name. And, like, the entire story, I'm like, Professor?
Yeah, when
it's Clive. No, it's Clive. And at the very end, it gives you that option one more time.
You know who I am?
Clive? No! And then he reveals that he's the professor.
His eye.
I'm like, oh, so betrayed. This whole time, I thought you were Clive.
I don't know. It's just like, when it comes to like the big reveal in Pokemon games, like I think Legends Arceus did it the best. Cause with Volo, dear God.
Yeah, Volo was so cool.
I'd never been scared in my mind.
What do you like better? Like, what do you think was more cool, Volo's battle, or the end battle with Scarlet and Violet? Because you got to think. Volo, you kind of know what Pokemon are in the game at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And you know he's going to have a similar team to Cynthia. And Cynthia brings back a lot of nostalgia terror. So there's that.
Listen, I heard the piano.
Yep.
I've never been more scared in my life.
That was such... I love that moment. Oh, I got chills. And then... But in Scarlet and Violet, you're facing a AI who at first was your friend and told you that their program was going to stop you. And then he changes into the AI that's supposed to stop you. The time machine is breaking, and they're sending out Pokemon you've never heard the name of before. These are Paradox Mons.
It was a cooler battle. Insane music. Oh my Lord
both of them
almighty.
had great music.
Oh my Lord almighty. That's Scarlet and Violet music. Oh my God.
So what do you think is more like... I want to say terrifying, but more of...
More terrifying would be Volo.
Okay.
Because then...
Because it has that nostalgic terror.
You also have to
Cynthia's theme.
You also
and
have to think
team.
the Giratina battle is also part of Volo battle.
That's true, but you don't know that first going into it.
You don't.
But it is a very big surprise. That's kind of like... Would you say that's a bigger surprise than the Pokemon that you don't know the name of coming at you, knowing that they're from a different time paradox? Like, what's more scary? That Giratina cinematic scene was really cool.
Dude, I got so much chills when, like, Giratina was coming through and he's like, Giratina, strike them down.
That was pretty cool.
I went, oh. I'm gonna die here. That battle took me 3 tries to beat, even when I was overleveled.
It took me a few times, too. I don't remember how many, but it did take me a bit. I remember I had to go train first.
Yeah,
That doesn't really happen often in current day Pokemon games.
I don't know which battle I think is better. I really want to say the Volo battle. I really do.
I don't think I can decide either. Because, like, the Volo one was so cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I don't know. Watching everything, like, turn red and the time machine breaking and this robot trying to kill you with Pokemon from a different time, it's like, that's hard to compete with.
I'll be honest, I didn't really like the, Koraidon v. Koraidon, Miraidon v. Miraidon battle.
Well, you kind of know that you're supposed to be the underdog in that, and you're supposed to come back at the last minute.
I know, it's like, through the power of friendship!
Yeah, it felt more like a...
Shut up!
It felt more like a set anime scene where the hero always comes back rather than a battle, because it's like, I don't think I can lose this battle, honestly.
You can't.
I think their moves are preset and my moves are preset with a certain amount of damage. So like
all the cutscenes.
But like I don't even think of that part when I think about fighting her specifically. I just think of the main battle.
But you have to. Yeah.
I say her because that's the trainer I fought, but it's interchangeable.
It's fine. She's hotter. I think I'll give it to the Volo battle. I feel like I had more emotion in that battle. Because first you're fighting Volo, who turned out to be we knew Cynthia's ancestor. The Cynthia music started playing. I'm like, oh god, I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm just dead now. And then Guillotina shows up. I'm like, Guillotina, kill them.
Kill them, please.
And I'm just like, no, thank you.
And then it changes forms and tries to kill you again.
And then you have to defeat it twice. I'm like, I'll never forget my face when that thing transformed.
Yep.
I'll never forget it.
Why?
Because I think I died in Volo. I'm like, shoot dang. And then I beat Volo. Guillotina showed up. I died to Guillotina first form. I'm like, shoot dang. So I went back, beat Volo, beat the first Guillotina. I'm like, yes! And then it went, ching! I went,
do it again!
I went, oh no. I think I stopped. I went, oh no.
And you don't get to heal.
Nope.
In between any of those battles, which I think is probably the hardest Pokemon battle in any game.
It is Cynthia, so.
Because you don't get a chance to heal while fighting a legendary twice and the champion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that probably is the hardest battle Pokemon's ever made.
Oh, but I enjoyed it so much.
I enjoyed it too. That was a pretty fun battle.
Scared out of my mind.
For these, I didn't really screenshot their names. I think these are from Instagram though, so I could probably find their names later. This Psyduck looking guy said, I enjoyed the game for what it was. Great new mons, nice character designs, and really enjoyed the multi-layered story and twist at the end. I do think that the performance issue really took away from the gym. It should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree 100%.
What is... Because he said they had some good mons in Gen 9. What is your favorite Gen 9 Pokemon?
That's hard. I don't know if I have a favorite. I guess if we're counting evolutions, I'd say Annihilape. That's the biggest one that comes to mind.
Farigiraf, I was about to...
I liked Roaring Moon, too. Now, Farigiraf, I liked its design. But it wasn't one that I would send out often just because its stats weren't the best. It tried to even out its attack stat with its special attack stat, and for those you'd prefer just to have one that's really high up instead of both equaled out. So I didn't really like that. Clodsire was kind of cool. I know you prefer Quagsire.
I do prefer Quagsire.
But Clodsire I feel like would be a cool plush. Maybe I can get like a big plush of Clodsire and just put him on the couch. Put him on top of Big Pikachu here.
There you go.
Because it does look like plush material. I know yours is Tinkaton.
Yes, sir! I love that hammer.
So yeah.
Just because of the reaction we had when it evolved.
Skullvillain almost was my top pick. If it had another evolution.
If it evolved again, yeah.
It looks like it's stuck at a mid-stage. Maybe because I'm thinking of Hydreigon. And how it's like, a third stage, you're supposed to have a third head, and then but it's like it's stuck at Zweilous.
I was about to say, dude, imagine if it stopped at Zweilous.
Like, I would hate that. I don't know. I feel like Skullvillain needs to be redeemed. He needs an evolution. If he does ever get an evolution, I feel like it could be really cool. I'm picturing like a small version of a Godzilla creature. I forget the name of him. But there's a creature in Godzilla where it's a giant plant monster and it comes out of the ground and then it has roots that attack, and it's one of my favorite creatures. I feel like that with a 3-headed Skullvillain, have a green pepperhead, a red pepperhead, and an orange pepperhead.
Okay.
Just complete the bell pepper line.
Yeah.
And you can have it breathing fire and grass, and I feel like that'd be really cool. But because Skullvillain stays at Skullvillain, I feel like that was a missed opportunity. Because I really like the idea of grass and fire And people have theorized a bell pepper Pokemon
Yeah.
or pepper Pokemon for so long. It'd be like, that'd make the most sense. And Game Freak's like, you know what? You're right. But let's make it suck.
How can we screw it up?
How can we make it worse, though?
See, I don't know if Game Freak could ever do a 3-headed Pokemon again. Just because of Hydreigon.
Maybe that's why they stopped. Maybe they scrapped the design. They do that sometimes. It's like everybody wanted to make a Flygon, and Game Freak knew it. And they're like, we couldn't settle on design, so we just chose not to put it in the game. Like, that's not a good reason.
It's not.
That's when you have to settle on a design. Not just say, there is no... Let's just not do it. Like, that's so dumb. That's like saying, we could solve world peace, but we don't really...
But we're not going to.
We don't really like any of the methods that were presented to us, so we're just not going to do anything.
We couldn't figure out a date to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of busy Wednesday. I don't want to do it Thursday, so we're just not going to do it at all.
There you go.
This is
Oh my gosh.
This is our last comment. Very good games at the core, but could have done better with extra 6 months in the oven. So they think that they should have... They think the game came out pretty undercooked.
6 months in the oven.
I think it definitely needed more time to be worked on. But, like, it's Game Freak, so if you give them more time to work on it, it's going to look exactly the same. Because this game came out in November, and it's April now. And so that gives them almost 6 months to have fixed all the problems.
And they didn't!
And they didn't do any of it. They didn't fix any of the problems. The only thing they fixed was the duplication glitch, which was the best glitch in the game, and then made sure to keep all the lag in the game. It's like, they just don't want players to have
I was about to say, like, what have they fixed?
That's the only thing.
I forgot about the duplication glitch just because it was so short-lived.
Yeah, and I knew a patch was coming, so I tried to do the duplication glitch as much as possible before they got rid of it.
How'd that go?
Pretty good. I got like 30 kinds of like the friend balls, and like I try to get all the unique balls possible. Because I don't know why, but Game Freak is like, they treat every unique Pokeball like a Master Ball.
Yeah. Like,
it's so hard to get 2 friend balls. It's like, dude, I just want it to look green so I can put my green Salamence in it. It doesn't have Master Ball odds. It's like regular Pokeball odds.
Yeah.
So, like, just make them more accessible. Put them in a Pokemon. Don't make it to where you only get 1 in the whole game.
Make them more expensive, I guess.
So, I just made sure to get me, like, 30 of those, 30 Moon Balls. Try to get as much Pokeballs as possible that I know I couldn't buy. That's the only thing I used the duplication glitch for.
Mm-hmm. I never use it. Because I'm not a cheater. That's topical.
I don't think it's cheating.
I don't.
The way I used it, it wasn't for cheating. I do wish I got more ability patches. But I didn't have one when the duplication glitch was a thing. So I kind of just missed the opportunity entirely.
Oh well.
But that was your opinions on Scarlet and Violet.
Good opinions.
I had fun reading those, especially Rival Indigos.
Sold a Switch.
Sold my Switch. So disappointed.
I don't know, like, if there could ever be a game that I hated so much that I sold my console. Well, he said it didn't even play it. He said he saw the trailer for it.
Yeah, he saw the trailer and he just did not like it. I guess he didn't like the way the map looked. A lot of people complain about the map.
Yeah, it's a circle.
But now they complain about the lag now that we actually have it. Which I think that's the most...
Valid.
It's very valid.
Valid. 6 months later.
We're in sync, brother. Ain't that cool?
Sync shinies?
Sync shinies? Bro, that would be so cool if we got synced shinies.
Sync shinies?
That'd be like the coolest like anime moment.
Bro, slow down.
Top 10 anime. You gotta keep pressing A, brother.
Brother, I'm pressing R2.
R2. Does R2 do the same thing?
Heck yeah, brother.
I didn't know that.
Heck yeah, brother.
I just press A. But thank you guys for watching. Next week we're going to talk about, is Pokemon Go dying?
Oh boy.
So we get to let out some more negative tension in that episode.
This is just the Pokemon negativity month.
Yep. Which I thought today went pretty well. I thought it would be more negative than it actually was.
Yeah.
A lot of people were more positive in the
There's some
comments.
good positive ones in there.
I was expecting us to just rant about the whole game the entire time. But no, I felt like all criticism that we talked about was well deserved, and there was some positives we mentioned.
Yeah.
All right, so see you guys later. Peace.
Peace out.